Does the war in Iran have anything to do with core inflation? Or you can't answer that, or either? Or are we precluded from asking that?
So John Larson just asked Scott Bessent the simplest possible question, and watched the Treasury Secretary of the United States refuse to answer it for nearly 2 full minutes. Are we at war? Not a trick question, not a gotcha. A factual question about whether the country he serves is currently engaged in military conflict. And Bessent would not say yes. He said the conflict has been halted. Larson pressed. So we are not at war. Bessent offered to call the Secretary of War to find out, as if the Treasury Secretary himself has no idea whether American troops are fighting and dying right now. And then Larson connected it directly to something every single American is feeling at the gas pump. He asked whether gas prices went up because of the war. Bessent eventually admitted yes, prices rose because of the conflict. Larson's response was the line that ended the exchange. So that's what we call it, the conflict. Our people go into battle and lose their lives. I will give you my honest opinion at the end. Let's watch this.
Thank you, and thank you, Secretary, for joining us here today. It's always kind of unusual when you start a hearing and are instructed what you can say or can't say in an open and free democracy. But having said that, you mentioned in your testimony core inflation a couple of times. What's the difference between core inflation and inflation?
Many people believe, or it is in general, energy prices and food prices, which are much more fast-moving. And I would say that energy prices will roll down when this Iran conflict ends.
So is gasoline considered part of core inflation?
Yes, sir.
It is. So those remarks, core inflation reflects gasoline prices.
Core inflation, it reflects the underlying trend in inflation and whether that inflation has become endemic to the system as it did during President Biden.
Has the war in Iran had anything to do with core inflation?
Sir?
Does the war in Iran have anything to do with core inflation? Or you can't answer that, or either? Or are we precluded from asking that?
Well, I'm not sure what the question is.
Let me make it as simple as I can. Does the war in Iran, are you with me? Does the war in Iran
thus far
have witnessed the rise in gas prices as it caused?
Well, again, that is the regular inflation, and gas prices have gone up, which I believe will be temporary.
Gas prices have gone up, but you believe they're temporary.
Core inflation has dropped 0.5% since President Trump came to office.
Geez, when I'm home in my district, I'm going to just tell those people, geez, you know what? You've missed this whole thing. Don't you understand core inflation? You guys are better off. I mean, these gas prices, I don't know what you people are thinking out there. For God's sake, you should be doing cartwheels in the street over the price of gas. So what is the administration's plan to lower gas prices?
We've taken the many.
Are you in favor of eliminating the gas tax?
We have moved to.
Are you in favor of eliminating the gas tax?
We would like to work.
Are you able to answer that, or is that not answered?
Well, if I'm not interrupted, I can, Congressman.
Well, I'm waiting for your answer.
We have asked Congress to move to eliminate the gas tax. That is done through statute.
You have moved that. So you're in favor of eliminating the gas tax?
We have asked for that.
So we can join bipartisanly today because you're in favor to eliminate the gas tax?
Again, the White House has asked for it, sir.
They have? Why isn't it before the committee for a vote?
I don't run the agenda.
Well, it's good to hear that we're in favor of something that we can work on bipartisanly that will help relieve people who need it the most. Forgive me, but people in my district aren't doing cartwheels over this economy. They haven't seen the impact that you claim that they're all receiving. People hear a lot of rhetoric, et cetera, but That doesn't pay their grocery bills. That doesn't pay their heating costs. That doesn't put fuel in their tanks. That doesn't help them get through the day-to-day grind of their lives. And so coming here and filling us with platitude and telling us how grateful we should be to the Trump administration for everything that it's done,
Well, Congressman,
is this war responsible for any of this?
Congressman, food at home is up 2.5% since President Trump took office.
Are we at war currently?
Which is twice.
Are we
It's
at
up
war
twice that much
currently?
every year under the Biden administration.
Are we at war currently?
That the conflict has been halted.
The conflict has been halted. So we're not at war. So our military is not involved. We're not at war.
Again, if you would like for me to call the Secretary of War, I can ask. I'm the Secretary
So
of
as part of the
Treasury.
administration and as part of this, we're not at war. How in God's name, if we can't answer any questions at all, and I don't know, maybe there were some special orders where we're not allowed to these questions or not, we ought to make that clear. Are we at war or not? I'm asking as relation to the cost of going up for oil and gas. That hasn't risen. Has it risen because of the war?
It did rise because of the conflict, yes, sir.
The conflict. So that's what we call it. Our people go into battle and lose their lives.
Mr. Larson, your time has
Conflict.
expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary, nice to have you back before our committee. Mr. Secretary, do you believe that all Americans should follow our tax laws?
Yes, Congressman.
Yes, good, so do I. And do you believe that for those Americans who break our tax laws, they should be audited or held accountable?
Well, I think there are two things there. An audit is not a result of breaking the law.
Yes or no? Simple question.
Well, no, it's not a
Do you
simple
think-
question. It's
Okay,
a two-part
then
question.
let me break it into two. Do you think they should?
If you're asking me,
Please don't
should every
interrupt
taxpayer be
me.
audited?
Please answer the, I came here for answers. If you came here to waste time, I'm going to try to make sure you don't do that. Do you believe that people who lie on their tax returns should be audited?
Yes.
Okay, do you think that people who break our laws should be held accountable, our tax laws?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Very simple. Not a hard question. I'm glad we agree. So why is it that you are allowing President Trump to have complete immunity from being audited?
Again, I'm going to have to refer you to my previous statements and
What was your previous statement,
that
sir?
I am unable to comment on any of the ongoing litigation.
Okay, can you name the ongoing case concerning President Trump's immunity from audit?
Sorry?
Can you name?
There are three cases.
Can you name them, please?
That are out there now, and I will be happy to get back to you on those, because again, I am not a lawyer.
Okay.
We are represented by the DOJ.
Great, you said that you can't because there's ongoing litigation. You'll get me the name of the ongoing litigation, because the only ongoing litigation that I know of is surrounding the $1.8 million slush fund, which has already been suspended. The fact is that the judge's ruling in the litigation that references that slush fund only addresses the anti-weaponization fund. It doesn't even address Trump's immunity from audit. So I would like to ask unanimous consent to enter into the record the judge's order in the Floyd versus Department of Justice case.
Without objection.
Thank you. Now, Secretary, you said you're not an attorney, is that correct?
Mercifully.
Okay, well, I am, and I'm actually proud to be an attorney and know the laws, and I know how to read a judicial ruling. Furthermore, I know that since 1962, the Supreme Court has held that ongoing litigation does not prevent someone from testifying in a congressional hearing. So once again, I'm going to ask, why are you allowing President Trump and his family to have complete immunity from being audited?
Again, since you're a lawyer, you will understand that the U.S. Treasury and the IRS are represented by the Justice Department and the Acting Attorney General.
Yes, but I just mentioned a Supreme Court case that doesn't bar you from testifying. It's pretty clear to me, though, however, that you're not interested in answering questions. You're interested in arguing. Let me ask you this question. If President Biden amended a prior tax return and claimed that he was owed $1 billion, do you think that that would be audited, or should it be audited?
I'm not going to talk about any
Because you're not really here to
I'm not
answer
gonna-
questions.
I am
don't
here,
understand
and
why
you-
you wouldn't
you're
audit
here.
that, and I don't understand why you wouldn't do the same for President Trump. So the ruling,
Do you have
the ruling
specific-
by
do
the
you-
Justice Department,
Do you have
excuse
specific
me.
knowledge of an audit of President Trump?
Excuse me. It's my time.
you have specific
You're not here to
knowledge?
ask me questions. I'm here to ask you questions, and hopefully you're here to try to answer some of them. I'm curious to know who counts as Trump's family for the purposes of this immunity. Is it his children, his in-laws, his grandchildren, his second or third cousin, his great-great-grandchildren? Do you know the answer to that question, Mr. Secretary?
Again, I imagine you have the Justice Department phone number. I suggest you call them.
I'm not the one that runs the Department of the Treasury or that oversees what is happening with this immunity
And
that has been granted.
I'm not the one either. We follow the instructions of our lawyers, and we obey the law,
I hope
Representative.
that you're proud of your performance today, Mr. Secretary,
well,
because I think
I hope you get some
I think
social
it's
media
pretty
clips.
safe to say that this is probably the most corrupt Treasury Department in our nation's history. And while
I am going
while
to
you
have to
dance
take
around questions
exception
to
with that.
protect
That is a
Trump,
slanderous
Americans
statement.
are suffering
That is a
in Trump's
slanderous
spiraling
statement.
economy.
And
Inflation is now rising faster than average hourly wages.
Nah.
Gas prices are at an all-time high with the war in Iran. The cost of groceries has risen 3.2% over the past years, and prices on most goods have gone up because of Trump's tariffs. So I don't see how you could call that anything other than a failure of the most corrupt Treasury Department in history.
Your time has expired, Ms. Sanchez.
Thank you. My
I'm not
time
gonna
has
take-
expired.
I'm not gonna
Secretary,
take
I would love for you to
firefighting hits.
respond to the accusations at your department, because I think you are due.
All right, so if you just watched that and felt the frustration build the longer Bessent refused to just say the word war, that frustration was earned. Let me break down exactly what Larson exposed, because this is about more than semantics. Start with the core inflation dodge, because that is where the whole exchange begins. Larson asks Bessent to explain the difference between core inflation and regular inflation. Bessent's own answer gives away the entire game. Core inflation excludes energy and food prices because, in his words, they are fast-moving. Larson immediately asks the follow-up that matters. Is gasoline part of core inflation? Bessent says yes. So when Bessent stands in front of Congress and cites core inflation numbers to argue Americans are better off, he is using a measurement that specifically strips out gas and groceries, which happen to be exactly the two categories families feel the most every single week. That is not a minor technicality. That is the entire argument resting on a number engineered to exclude the pain people are actually experiencing. Then Larson asks Bessent directly whether the war in Iran has anything to do with core inflation. And what follows is one of the more uncomfortable stretches of a congressional hearing in recent memory. Bessent asks him to repeat the question. Larson repeats it, slower, more simply. Bessent still will not give a direct answer. He keeps redirecting to the claim that gas price increases are temporary and that core inflation has dropped 0.5% since Trump took office. Larson's response is pure sarcasm, and it lands because it is honest. He says when he goes home to his district, he will tell people they have all missed the point, that they should be doing cartwheels in the street over the price of gas. That is what it sounds like when a real person translates a Washington talking point back into the language ordinary families actually use. Then comes the gas tax exchange, which is genuinely one of the only constructive moments in the whole hearing. Larson asked directly whether the administration supports eliminating the federal gas tax. Bessent dodges several times before finally confirming the White House has, in fact, asked Congress to eliminate it. Larson immediately tries to seize that as a rare bipartisan opening, something both parties could actually act on to help people at the pump right now. And then he asks the obvious next question. If the White House supports this, why isn't it in front of the committee for a vote? Bessent says he does not run the committee agenda. So the one concrete relief measure mentioned in the entire hearing, something both sides claim to want, is just sitting there, unscheduled, while families keep paying full price. And then Larson gets to the heart of the matter. Are we at war? He is not asking a philosophical question. He is asking because the answer determines how honest the rest of the hearing can be. If the country is at war, then rising gas prices, rising grocery prices, and the broader economic strain are direct, traceable consequences of a specific policy decision, and Congress has a right to debate it as such. If the administration refuses to even use the word war, then none of those consequences can be properly attributed, discussed, or held accountable. Bessent's answer is that the conflict has been halted. Larson asks again, so we are not at war, is our military involved? Bessent suggests he could call the Secretary of War to check. I really appreciate you watching. Make sure to check out this one. If you want more breakdowns like this, hit like and subscribe. Drop a comment and tell me what you think.